Inside the great ship Odyssey Dawn, the sound of engines hummed through metal floors like a steady heartbeat. Captain Ryan Cole walked alone through the long corridor, holding a toolbox in one hand. He was not a soldier this time, just a mechanic keeping the ship alive during a long diplomatic mission. The human fleet had sent Odyssey Dawn to a neutral star system to meet the Lyrian Dominion, an alien race known for their silver-blue skin, light eyes, and calm speech. Ryan liked quiet work. He fixed things when others broke them and machines didn't lie. They just stopped working, waiting for someone patient enough to listen. That morning he was in the hangar, kneeling beside a broken translator unit. It was small, like a glowing cube that helped different species understand each other. The translator buzzed and blinked, but the words that came out were twisted nonsense. Ryan sighed and rubbed his forehead. "You again," he muttered. "Can't you stay fixed for one day?" He started unscrewing its panels, focusing completely. Then the door slid open behind him with a soft hiss. Ryan looked up and froze. An alien woman stepped inside, tall, slender, and graceful in movement. Her name was Sarai Taloon, the Lyrian diplomat assigned to speak with the human delegation. Her skin shimmered faintly under the hangar lights, changing between shades of soft blue and silver like moonlight on water. Ryan stood quickly and brushed the dust from his hands. Ambassador. Didn't expect company in the hangar." She tilted her head slightly as if studying his tone. Her translator was silent, only blinking red at her collar. She tried to speak, but her words came out broken. Man, sound, strange." She frowned and tapped the device, but it slipped from her fingers and rolled under the workbench. Without thinking, Ryan stepped forward. "Careful, that thing's delicate." Before he could bend to help, Sarai crouched down herself. The motion was simple, but the moment slowed. The light from the engine core cast a soft glow across her face. Ryan saw the thin silver lines running along her cheekbones, energy veins that glowed faintly whenever she moved. Her hair, or what passed for hair, shimmered like thin glass threads catching the light. Ryan looked away, feeling awkward. She wasn't just an alien. She was the first Lyrian he'd met so close. He didn't want to stare. Sarai picked up the translator and straightened up. She gave a quiet nod and said, "Thank you." Her accent was strange, soft, but her tone held calm intelligence. Ryan smiled, trying to act casual. "You're welcome. The translator's been giving trouble all morning. Let me see it." She handed it to him carefully. Their fingers brushed only for a second, but he noticed how her skin felt cool like polished stone. He turned the cube in his hands and knelt by the open table. "Looks like one of your data coils burned out." Sarai watched silently, her glowing eyes following every movement. She didn't seem afraid or proud, just curious. "You fix machines," she said slowly as the translator came back online. "That's right," Ryan said. "I fix ships, engines, translators. Sometimes broken humans, too." Her expression shifted, almost like a small smile. "Humans fix everything, even when already broken." That simple sentence caught Ryan off guard. He glanced up, wondering if she meant the translator or something deeper. He didn't ask. For the next hour, she stayed near the table, watching him work. She asked short questions about his tools, the metals, and even about Earth's oceans. Her words came out awkward, but the curiosity behind them was real. Ryan found himself explaining things he hadn't talked about in years. Oceans cover most of Earth, billions of tons of salt water. Big waves. People surf, swim, fish. Salt water, Sarai repeated softly. Lyrian home. Has crystal lakes. Quiet, still. We do not have waves. He smiled. Then you'd probably find them scary at first. But waves are beautiful when you learn to ride them. She tilted her head again, thinking. Ride chaos? Ryan laughed. Yeah, that's kind of what humans do. For the first time, she smiled fully. It was small but bright, like dawn over metal. The ship's comm system buzzed suddenly, calling for status updates from all decks. Ryan answered quickly. Engineering's fine, sir. Minor power fluctuations, nothing serious. When he turned back, Sarai was still looking at him, her translator now glowing a steady blue. Your voice, she said, sounds steady. He shrugged. Been doing this a while. Things break, I fix them. It's simple. She lowered her gaze, thinking. On my world, when things break, we replace. We do not fix. That's sad, Ryan said quietly. Sometimes what's broken just needs patience. Her eyes lifted again. Humans have much patience, he chuckled. Not really. But we try. A soft silence filled the hangar after that. Ryan went back to his work, tightening screws, and Sarai stood beside him, her hands folded neatly. The hum of the engines filled the space around them. After a while, she said softly, "When I was told to meet humans, I was afraid. They say you fight too much. They say you burn stars and build weapons." Ryan looked up from the table. "They're not wrong," he said. "But that's not all we are." Her voice dropped lower. "Then what are you?" He thought for a moment, then answered, "We're the ones who don't stop, even when everything falls apart." Sarai didn't respond right away. She just watched him with a quiet intensity that made the air feel heavy. Then she said softly, "That is tempting." Ryan blinked, unsure what she meant. "Tempting?" She corrected herself quickly, struggling for the right word. "I mean, inspiring." He smiled faintly, pretending not to notice her flustered tone. "I'll take inspiring over scary any day." When the translator beeped again, Ryan disconnected it and handed it back to her. "There, good as new." Sarai accepted it with both hands, as if holding something important. "You fix things fast," he shrugged. "It's what I do." Her eyes softened. "Then maybe humans and Lyrians can fix something bigger." He didn't know what she meant, but the look in her eyes said more than the translator could. It was curiosity mixed with respect. A bridge starting to form between two species that had once feared each other. As she turned to leave, she stopped by the doorway and looked back. "Captain Ryan Cole," she said slowly, learning to pronounce every syllable. "Thank you." "Any time," he replied with a smile. "And it's just Ryan." When she left, the hangar felt strangely quiet. He looked at the empty spot where she had stood and saw her translator's faint light still glowing on the table. She must have dropped it again. He bent down to pick it up, and in that small movement a memory of the way she had bent earlier crossed his mind. Not in a romantic or improper way, but in how different she seemed, elegant, focused, and strangely human. He turned the translator in his hands and sighed. "You aliens sure know how to make things complicated," he murmured. Outside, through the hangar window, the stars drifted past in endless silence. Ryan didn't know yet that this small meeting, the engineer and the alien girl, would change the future of both their worlds. But deep inside, he felt something new stirring. Not attraction, not fear, but curiosity, the same kind that once made humans reach for the stars. And as the hum of the engines grew louder, Ryan smiled faintly and whispered to himself, "Yeah, we fix what breaks, even when we don't understand it." The next morning on the Odyssey dawn, Ryan Cole woke early. He could still hear the soft echo of Sarai's voice from the night before. Something about her curiosity stayed with him. The way she looked at every tool like it carried a story. The way she tried to understand human ways even when her translator glitched. He tried to shake the thought away and focused on his duties. Today was a big day. The Odyssey Dawn would escort the Lyrian envoy ship through a rough asteroid corridor to the neutral station at the Neberon Rift. The path was dangerous, and human pilots were nervous. The Lyrians depended on human navigation because humans were known for their daring instincts, something computers couldn't copy. Ryan was back in the hangar, fixing a stabilizer unit when he heard soft footsteps. He didn't even look up this time. "You again?" he said, half smiling. Sarai's calm voice answered, "Yes, I return your tool." He turned, surprised. She was holding his small laser spanner, the one he had lent her by accident when repairing the translator. Her silver blue eyes reflected the morning light like twin pieces of glass. "Guess I need to keep better track of my stuff," Ryan said, taking it. She studied him for a second. "You work alone again," he nodded, "always. Less noise, fewer mistakes." Her translator hummed, almost like it was thinking before speaking. "On my world, working alone is punishment. It means the mind cannot share light." Ryan smiled faintly. "Then I guess humans get punished a lot." Sarai tilted her head. "And yet, you make progress." Before he could reply, the ship's intercom came alive. "All crew standby. Asteroid drift detected. Shields to full. Diplomatic ship entering the belt." Ryan frowned. "That's early." They shouldn't have entered yet. He grabbed his tablet and saw readings spike on the screen, movement in the belt, something big. Then the alarm blared. "Unknown ships detected." Not Lyrian, not human. The hangar shook. Ryan steadied himself as the deck lights flickered. Sarai grabbed the wall rail, her translator struggling to keep up. "Attack?" she asked quickly. Ryan looked toward the viewport. Outside, through the thin shimmer of energy shields, dark shapes were moving between the rocks. Raiders, scavenger ships that attacked diplomats for ransom. He hit the intercom. Engineering to command, we've got pirate signatures closing fast. Copy that, came the reply. Lock down the hangar. Prepare defense systems. Sarai looked at him, calm but serious. Your people fight often. Only when we have to, Ryan said, pulling open a locker and handing her a light shield belt. Put this on. It'll protect you from shrapnel. She hesitated. I am not a soldier. Neither am I, Ryan replied. But we're both breathing, so that's enough. He sealed the hangar doors and powered the backup shields. The ship jolted again as laser fire hit the outer hull. Sparks fell from the ceiling. Sarai watched him work with quick, precise movements, her eyes wide but steady. Your captain, she asked. Will he fight? Ryan smirked. He'll fight, but I'd rather keep this ship running than throw punches. The communication panel lit up again. Cole, we lost auxiliary power. Can you reroute from hangar grid? I'm on it, Ryan shouted back. He rushed to the maintenance station and opened a circuit panel. We'll need to cross-link the Lyrian energy core, he muttered. Sarai, I need your help. She stepped closer, unsure. Tell me what to do. Hold this cable, he said, guiding her hands gently onto the energy line. If it glows red, drop it. Got it, she nodded. Understood. As he worked, the lights dimmed again. The translator around her neck buzzed weakly, trying to stay active. Ryan, she said suddenly, why do humans go where danger waits? He didn't stop working, because we don't know how to do anything else. Curiosity drives us. Sometimes it saves us. Sometimes it gets us killed. She watched his face as he worked, the sweat forming on his brow, the firm look in his eyes. To her, humans were unpredictable, but there was strength in that unpredictability. The floor trembled again as another explosion hit nearby. A loose beam fell, and before Ryan could move, Sarai reached out and activated her belt's shield field, covering them both. The beam bounced off the blue shimmer and crashed to the floor harmlessly. Ryan blinked. Nice timing, she gave a short nod. You said I must drop cable only if red. It was not red, he laughed. You learn fast. Minutes passed in chaos. Together they worked like they'd done it for years. Ryan fixing circuits, Sarai stabilizing the power surge. The translator flickered between their words, making her voice sound almost human. When the final connection sparked, the hangar lights roared back to life. Power levels climbed. Ryan hit the comm again. Engineering to bridge, auxiliary restored. Shields back online. The captain's voice came back loud and proud. Good work, Cole. You just saved our skins. Ryan leaned back, exhausted. Sarai still held the cable, her hands trembling slightly. The glow of the circuit painted her silver skin with orange light. He smiled at her. You okay? She nodded slowly. Your machines bite, but I still live, he chuckled. That's all that matters. Through the hangar window, they could see the Lyrian envoy ship firing defensive flares while the human escorts chased the raiders away. It was almost beautiful. Light streaks dancing among asteroids, ships moving like shadows. Sarai turned to him quietly. You risked yourself for people not of your kind. Ryan met her gaze. That's what we do. Doesn't matter what skin color or planet. We protect whoever's near us. Her translator took a second to translate before repeating softly. Protect. Whoever near. The words seemed to echo between them. After an hour, the battle ended. The raiders fled, leaving silence behind. The crew cheered on the comm channel. The human captain announced that they were safe and continuing toward the rift. Ryan sank onto a crate, wiping sweat from his face. That was too close. Sarai stood in front of him, studying his expression again. You did not run, she said. You fixed even while ship burned. Running never fixed anything, he replied simply. Her translator hummed softly. Humans, strange. You destroy and build in same breath, he grinned. That's how we survive. There was a long pause. The sound of the engines was steady again. Outside, the stars looked peaceful once more. Sarai walked to the viewport and stared into the vast black. On my world, she said, courage is silence. We stand still until danger passes. But you humans, you move toward it. Ryan joined her. Sometimes standing still gets you crushed. We move because if we don't, someone else pays the price. She turned her head slightly. And that is why the galaxy fears you. He shrugged. Let them. Fear's easier than understanding. Sarai looked down at the glowing translator in her hands. When it broke, you fixed it without hesitation. Today you fixed a ship under fire. You fix everything. Ryan chuckled quietly. That's what I'm here for. She smiled faintly. Then maybe you can fix something more difficult. He frowned a little. Like what? Trust, she said softly. Between our worlds, he didn't answer. Instead, he looked at her, realizing how serious her tone was. For the first time, he saw no distance between them. No barrier of species or politics. Just two beings who wanted peace. The comm system broke the moment. All crew, stand down. Docking at the Neberon Rift Station in 4 hours. Prepare for diplomatic session, Ryan exhaled, standing up. 4 hours to breathe. Sarai's eyes followed him as he walked back to his table. You still fix machine? He grinned. Always, she hesitated, then said softly, humans do not know rest. He turned, half smiling. Rest's boring. Fixing's better. She laughed. A quiet, melodic sound that almost didn't need translation. For the first time, it felt natural between them, not forced by diplomacy. As the ship continued toward the rift, Sarai sat nearby, helping him organize tools, asking about each one like it was something sacred. Ryan answered each question patiently, though deep down he wondered why her curiosity mattered so much to him. When the hangar finally grew quiet again, she said, When this mission ends, will you return to your home? He looked out at the stars. If there's still a home to go back to, sure. She lowered her gaze. You speak like soldier. Maybe I've just seen too much broken stuff, he said softly. But that doesn't mean I stop fixing. Sarai didn't reply. She just looked at him for a long moment, then whispered, That is tempting. He looked at her, unsure again if the translator was giving the right word. But this time he didn't correct her. Outside the viewport, the stars of the Neberon Rift glowed in strange colors, red, blue, violet, like the meeting of two distant hearts trying to find a rhythm. Ryan and Sarai stood side by side, silent as the Odyssey Dawn carried them toward a future neither could predict. The Odyssey Dawn glided through the silent edge of the Neberon Rift, a stretch of space so dark that stars looked like tiny tears in black velvet. Captain Ryan Cole stood near the main viewport, arms crossed, eyes fixed on the alien station growing larger ahead. It was the first neutral outpost where both Lyrian and human leaders would meet to talk about peace. The air around the ship felt heavy, even though everything was quiet. The crew moved slower, careful not to disturb the tension. Everyone knew that one mistake could ruin months of hard work. Ryan had spent the last hours checking every system twice. He didn't trust computers alone. Machines followed rules. War didn't. As he closed the last panel in the hangar, he heard the soft, clear tone of the translator. Ryan Cole. He turned and saw Sarai Talun standing there. She was wearing a new uniform, light silver fabric that shimmered faintly in the glow of the engines. Around her neck, a new translator rested, smaller and smoother than before. He smiled. Looks like you made an upgrade. She nodded slowly. Yes, I repaired the old one, then built this. It is stronger now. You showed me how. He raised an eyebrow. I showed you how to fix things, not build new ones. Her voice softened. But humans build even when no one asks them to. Ryan laughed quietly. You've been studying us. Every hour, she admitted. My people told me humans cannot be trusted. But after yesterday, I think maybe they fear what they do not understand. He sighed. That makes two of us. For a while they stood there, silent, listening to the soft hum of the ship. Through the window, the alien station grew brighter, covered in shining crystal domes that reflected the nearby stars. It looked peaceful. Too peaceful, Ryan thought. The comm buzzed. All decks, prepare for docking sequence. Ambassador Talun, report to briefing chamber. Sarai gave a small nod. That is my call. Ryan straightened. Good luck in there. Try not to start a war. Her eyes softened. And you? Will you be here? Yeah, he said, keeping the lights on as usual. She smiled faintly before turning toward the exit. As she left, Ryan realized how quiet the hangar felt without her voice. Hours later, the peace meeting began. Ryan stayed in the hangar, listening to the faint echoes of speeches through the internal comm feed. Humans talked about unity, the Lyrians spoke about balance, and both sides repeated promises that felt fragile as glass. Then, the alarm blared again. Security breach detected. Hostile signal near station core. Ryan froze. Not again, he muttered, and ran for the control station. On his screen, he saw an energy spike inside the docking bridge connecting the human ship and the Lyrian side of the station. It wasn't pirates this time. It was sabotage. The captain's voice shouted over the radio. "Cole, we've got a bomb signal reading inside the Lyrian chamber. You're the closest. Move." Ryan didn't hesitate. He grabbed his toolkit, strapped on a pressure vest, and sprinted through the corridor. When he reached the chamber entrance, 2 Lyrian guards tried to stop him. "Human, you cannot enter. There's no time," Ryan shouted. "Your station's about to blow." Before they could argue, Sarai appeared behind them. "Let him pass," she ordered. Her translator repeated her voice perfectly this time. The guards hesitated, then stepped aside. Inside, the council chamber shimmered with blue light. In the center stood a small, humming orb, an explosive pulse device, alien-made, but not Lyrian. Its energy glow pulsed faster with each second. Ryan dropped to his knees beside it. "Who planted this?" Sarai shook her head, fear showing for the first time. "Unknown. It carries markings from outer clans, enemies to both our people." He opened the device panel. Wires of living metal coiled inside, twitching like nerves. "This isn't human tech, but I can still try." Sarai crouched beside him. "Can I help?" He looked at her quickly. "You really shouldn't be here." She met his gaze firmly. "You said humans protect whoever is near. Now Lyrian does the same." He couldn't argue. "Fine. Hold the stabilizer coil. Don't move." The bomb's hum deepened, shaking the floor. Sweat rolled down Ryan's temple as he worked fast, tracing circuits with his tool. Sparks leapt and the timer display glowed red. 30 seconds. Come on," he whispered. "Ryan," Sarai said quietly, "if we fail, we won't. Your people will blame mine. Then we can't fail." He twisted one last connector, rerouted the pulse wire, and slammed the core hatch shut. The orb flashed once, then went dark. The hum faded. Silence. Ryan sat back slowly, breathing hard. "It's done." Sarai let out a slow breath, her hands still trembling. "You stopped it?" He smiled weakly. "Not the first time I've fixed something that was about to explode." The chamber door opened, and human and Lyrian guards flooded in. The ambassadors followed, faces pale and shocked. One human officer pointed at Sarai. "Was this her doing?" Ryan stood immediately. "No, she helped me disarm it. She saved this whole room." The room fell silent. Sarai looked around, her voice calm but firm. "We both did, together." The human ambassador nodded slowly. "Then maybe that's the lesson we needed today." Later, when the chaos settled, Ryan and Sarai sat alone in the observation deck. Outside, the rift glowed softly, a sea of colored dust and ancient stars. "Peace talks will continue," Sarai said quietly. "Your people and mine will share patrols now, the first in history." Ryan leaned back in his chair. "Guess that's one thing fixed." She smiled gently. "And repaired with patience," he chuckled. "You're learning too fast." Her eyes sparkled faintly. "Humans learn by breaking. Lyrians learn by watching. Together, maybe we finally learn to understand." For a while, they said nothing. The silence wasn't heavy. It was calm. The kind that comes after surviving something impossible. Then Sarai placed her small translator on the table. "This is the one I built," she said. "But maybe I don't need it anymore." Ryan frowned. "Why's that?" "Because," she said softly, "I think I understand you without it." He looked at her, unsure what to say. "That's good progress." She laughed lightly. "You still hide feelings with jokes." "Old habit," he said. "Keeps me alive." She leaned closer, studying his face as if searching for meaning in his eyes. When I first met you, I thought humans were chaos. Loud, reckless, dangerous. Now I think you are something else. What's that? He asked. Hope, she said. You fix what breaks even when it's not yours to fix. That is rare in this galaxy. Ryan looked out the window again. Maybe that's all we have left to offer. Stubborn hope. She nodded slowly. Then I think the universe needs more of it. The station lights dimmed to night mode, leaving only the stars shining beyond the glass. Their reflection showed two shapes sitting side by side, human and Lyrian, no longer strangers. After a long pause, Sarai said softly, When I bent to pick up my translator that first day, I thought you looked at me with curiosity. I did not know why. Ryan smiled faintly. Because you were trying to fix something, I respect that. Her eyes warmed. You were not tempted then? He shook his head. Not by appearance. By something else. What? By the idea that maybe humans aren't alone anymore. Sarai looked out at the stars again. Neither are Lyrians. A calm silence followed. The engines of the Odyssey Dawn purred softly, carrying them toward new missions, new stars, and perhaps new beginnings. Before leaving, Sarai picked up her translator, looked at it once more and set it gently back on the table. You fixed it, she said. But now it speaks better without power. Maybe peace works like that too. Ryan nodded. Yeah, maybe. When she left the deck, Ryan sat there alone, watching the rift fade into the distance. For the first time in years, he felt something close to peace. And when the captain's voice echoed through the hall, Human-Lyrian alliance confirmed, docking complete, history made. Ryan smiled to himself. Somewhere in that vast galaxy, a small moment between an engineer and an alien had changed everything. Humans fixed what others abandoned, and this time they had fixed the future.